Good evening. Uh, Welcome to uh, week 10 of control system course. In the last class, I have explained about state space representation, which is another form of representing a plant or system other than transfer function approach. The state space representation is basically a vector matrix representation. That means it has a state n state x dot equal to ax plus bu and y. Y is the output is equal to cx plus du, where x is the state matrix and u is the input matrix, y is the output matrix. So the dimensions are, let's say x is of dimension n by 1 vector. X is nothing but the state of the system, and u is the input vector, which is of m by 1, and y is output vector, which is of p by m dimension. So remaining A is the state matrix, and B is the input matrix, and C is the output matrix, and D is the feed through matrix. And yesterday also we have, in the last class I have also explained about if the system is any physical system, uh, uh, given a physical system, how to derive the state space representation. I basically explained about one is representing deriving the state space representation if the system is given a physical system, maybe electrical system or mechanical system or anything. How do you choose the state space variables and then derive the state space representation? So from one is directly from the physical system. And suppose if the system is described in terms of differential equations, then how do you convert that differential equations into state space form? This is the second one, differential equation, converting the differential equation to state space. And the third one is, uh, suppose if given that system is represented by a transfer function, then how do you convert that transfer function into state space, to state space form? Also, I have discussed about, suppose if your system is given with a transfer function, then how do you convert the transfer function into state space form, which is basically uh, how do you sorry. Suppose if the system, if you are given with a LTI system in a state space form, then how to convert that state space into transfer function? Basically, it is nothing but TF is equal to T Si minus A inverse B plus D, where A, B, C, D are the matrices from this given space representation. Then I also discussed about how do we analyze the stability of system if the system is given in the state space form. In case of transfer function, we actually find the roots of the characteristic equation. So the roots of the characteristic equations are your poles, right? If the poles are on the left half of the plane, then the system is unstable. Similarly, in case of state space representation, the eigenvalues of A matrix decides the stability of the system. Of A. So if the eigenvalues have negative real part, then the system is stable. Otherwise, it is unstable. Then next I also discussed about finding the solution of state space representation. That is, we are a given system. This is a differential equation. Basically, x dot is nothing but a differential equation. Then how do you find the solution of this differential equation? Because here these are in the vector form, right? Vector and matrix form. In this case, how to derive the solution? That means state trajectories, how do you find? So in the case of suppose u is homogeneous case, that means u is equal to 0. U is equal to 0. That means then x dot equal to ax, right? So the solution of the system will be x of t is equal to e power at x t naught. So this is pretty similar to static case, but here in this case, this x and t are matrices. X and a are matrices. Then, whereas there it's a scalars, right? In a normal case. So here it is a matrix. A is a matrix here. This is called e power at is called the state transition matrix. Also represented sometimes in terms of phi of t is the state transition matrix, which is equal to e power at. Then in case of non-homogeneous case, that means u is not equal to 0. In that case, the solution will be x of t is equal to e power at, that is the state transition matrix times x of t naught, initial vector, initial state, plus integral 0 to t e power minus e power a minus a tau b u of tau theta. Okay, this is the solution of system states. Now today's class we will quickly uh, go through the slides and then we will solve some of the examples. So this is the state transition matrix which is represented by phi of t, which is nothing but phi t naught equal to 8t minus t naught, where t naught is the initial condition. Okay. Then how do you calculate e power at? That is the next question. So I also shown that e power at is pretty similar to the static scalar case. That means if it is here, it is a matrix, but in case of scalar, how it is 1 plus at plus 8t square, a square t square by 2 factor like that. Here also in, where n is the dimension of some a matrix, I n plus I is the identity matrix of dimension n, then at plus a square t square by 2 factorial plus a cube t cube by 3 factorial plus etc. Okay, so where here a is a matrix, so it's the matrix multiplication a square. Okay, that is the difference between the static case and not the scalar case and here. Now we will find out how can we compute that e power at. So in this example, so they have given with the x dot equal to minus 2x plus u and y x2 dot is equal to x1 minus x2. So from this we can write as state matrix as x1 dot x2 dot in matrix form. We can write this is x1 x2. So x1 dot equal to minus 2 x1. That means here it is minus 2 x1 and x2 is 0. Then here is 1 x2 dot equal to x1. x1 means here 1 minus 1, right? If you see the matrix multiplication, then minus 2 x1 0 x2, that is x1 dot, and x2 dot is equal to minus x1, sorry, x1 minus x2 plus u means for x1 has only u but x2 does not have, that means it is 1 0 U. So this is your A matrix and this is your B matrix. Now we have to compute, and they are also given the initial conditions. X1 is equal to 0 and x2 at time t 0 is equal to 3. Now we need to find out the state transition matrix for this case. That means e power at. So e power at. So this is the state transition matrix which we have calculated now. Then state transition matrix. The formula for this is e power at. E power at is equal to in at plus a square t square by 2 factorial a cube 3 t cube by 3 factorial and so on. So that means where in, because a is of order two second order, so 2 by 2 matrix. So it's a 2 by 2 identity matrix of order 2. So then a of t, then a square t square by 2 factorial and so on. Suppose that means you need to compute the series here for each term. So that means 1 minus, then if you summing out all these things, you will get one sequence here, first term sum, and the second for all the cases, 1 2 element is 0, so it is 0. Then here 1 minus 3 t square by 2 factorial, 7 t cube by 3 factorial, and so on. So then we need to write a closed form matrix. But this is a bit tedious, right? Every time you may not have the series expansion have a closed form expression, and even though if it is having closed form, it is difficult to find out that one. So is there any alternative method to find out e power at? So for in case of LTA systems, we can use Laplace transform as a tool to find out e power at. That means if we have x dot equal to ax, then in the Laplace transform we can write it as sx of s minus x of 0 equal to axs. Right now, if you bring this one, this term to here, and if you make it to here, then you will get and take a s common, x of s common, then it will be s n minus a, x of s equal to x of 0, then x of s equal to sin minus a. It's a simple algebra. So you will get, but here the A matrices, A are matrices, A and X are matrices that you need to should not forget those things. So then calculate the inverse Laplace transform. You will get phi of t. Phi of t is nothing but your e power at. So this is another approach to calculate the state transition matrix, because this state transition matrix is needed for to find out the solution of state space representation as is shown in the equation here. So here, if you want to find out the state system solution, we need e power at. We need to compute. So if to calculate the e power at, one method is using uh, series expansion, but that is a tedious process. So what we are using is Laplace transform. In Laplace transform, we have to calculate the inverse transform. So another approach is e power at is inverse Laplace transform of si minus a inverse. Okay, this is another way we can represent, we can find out state transition matrix. So for the same example, minus 2 0 1 minus 1, first we need to evaluate si minus a inverse and then take the inverse Laplace transform. You will get after partial fraction expansion, then you will find out the inverse Laplace transform of this will be e to the power minus 2 to 0, which is same as previously if you do sequential series approximation. Okay, and these are about the properties of e power at, and they are comparing in the case of scalar case, means if this a is a scalar and a matrix form. So the both are pretty similar, but the only difference here is one difference here. This is what we can write e power a plus a1 plus a2 into t equal to like this only if a1 into a2 are commute, a1 a2s are commute. Okay, so these things you can use it when solving the problems. So phi of t after expression you are getting like this. And here is another example, which is a physical system, which is a spring mass dam system, where they are given with the transfer function here. Now we need to convert this transfer function into state space model, which I already explained in the last class. Now we'll discuss again the same thing. What we need to do is we have to cross multiply these two. Then you will have ms square plus bs plus k into x of s is equal to f of s, right? Then we now do the Laplace transform. In Laplace transform, this we can write it as m x double dot s square means x double dot plus b x dot plus kx equal to f. Are you getting?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now we need to convert this differential equation form. Now from the differential equation, you can get the state space representation by using, let's say for example, your state first state x1 equal to x dot x, and then x1 dot is equal to x dot equal to x2. This is the standard way we can write the state space equation. Then x2 dot will be equal to x double dot, right? Now this x double dot you can use, you can derive this x double dot from this equation. That means x double dot will be equal to f minus b x dot minus kx divided by m. Okay, now the state space form will be x1 dot x2 dot, right? X1 dot x2 dot is equal to, this is x1 and this is x2, and the x1 dot is equal to x2, right? So this will be 0 and this is 1. That means 0 into x1, 1 into x2. Then x2 dot is equal to this one. That means this we can write it as f minus b x dot is x2 minus k x is x1 by m. So then x2 dot is equal to minus k by m x1 minus b by m x2. Okay, plus bu here is f only, right? So that is there in the x2 term, that means 0 comma 1 f, sorry, f f by m, this is f by m, right, for x2 dot. So that means 1 by m here. So your a matrix and b matrices are, so 0 1 0 1 minus k by m b by m, this is minus b by m, and 0 1 by m. And if you are only measuring the state x, that means your x1 position only if you are measuring, that means then you will, y will be, y is equal to 1 0 x1 x2. This is your state space representation. So here they are given with MATLAB simulations. Suppose if you are given ABCD matrices like this, then first you need to calculate, first you need to find out this represents system using SS function, state space representation. Then you can use step whatever. The similarly in case of transfer function, we have used TF, right? Here is TF transfer function, numerator polynomial, denominator polynomial. So here it is system SS. Then this is the case for auto suspension system, and they are given with differential equation, transfer function. They are given that they can write it in the short form: b1 b naught a s cube a cube s cube a2 s square a1 s, where a1 a2 are approximately given. You can get it here. This is your a3, and this is your a2. By comparing the terms, you can say. This is one. In fact, you can write once you given the transfer function, you can write the state space representation directly without converting into differential equation and then writing into that one. This is the called the standard approach. I already discussed about this one. This is called controllable canonical form. Controllable canonical form. So in that controllable canonical form, what we have to write is up to last but one row, the off diagonal elements of the principal diagonal next to the principal diagonal elements, we keep all are one, and in the last row you should write it like using these terms here. So first one is in the A. This is your A x1, x2, x3, and x4, right? So so first x1 quotient here is this is x1 quotient. So this is a naught. You have to write minus a naught. Then x1 is your status. So this is your minus a1, minus a2, and minus a3. We can directly write it like this. And then B matrix is always 0, 0, 1. And C is equal to C is B1. This is for C is nothing but Cx, right? C x1, x2, x3, x4. Right? So the coefficients of C, x1 is B naught and x2 is B1. Because x1 is, we are assuming x1 equal to x and x2 is equal to x1 dot, equal to x1 dot. So whatever the term s here, this is the quotient for x1 and s square means x3 like that. And d is equal to 0. And there is another form called observable canonical form that we can directly get it from controllable canonical form. These all are the standard forms which are used, uh, which will are useful for the next class. Suppose if you want to analyze the system, system controllability of the system, observability of the system, then if you have the controllable canonical form or observable canonical form, we can directly say that the system, without doing any calculation, we can say that the system is controllable or observable. That we will learn in the next class. Okay. For now, you understand what is controllable canonical form and observable canonical form. In observable canonical form, how do you write the same thing is, um, so suppose x dot equal to ax plus bu, and where A is the A matrix in the controllable canonical form. The same thing in observable canonical form, we can write it as x dot equal to A dash x plus, where here B is nothing but C transpose U. That means here if we have C, right, this if you transpose that, then we will get observable canonical form. Likewise for y is equal to B transpose. Here before it, this is B, this is B transpose U plus D. Sorry, B transpose X plus D. This I explained in the last class. You can revisit that class notes and you will understand what it is. Controllable canonical and observable canonical. And this is the system simulations of MATLAB simulation for the same system. And the third one is, the example is of RLC circuit. Here they directly given the system transfer function V naught by Vs is equal to this one. The same similar approach you can also find out this state space representation for the given this one. You can take it as an example exercise and you can try this one. So then next module is linearization. So yeah, so far we have learned about linear systems, right? So we are assuming that the system is a linear time invariant system, and we have learned how to derive the transfer function and then how to analyze the system response. Then you design the controller, so the system behaves as per your requirement. So then, but in general, you encounter most of the time systems are of non-linear systems. Maybe because of the system behavior itself is non-linear, or because the system divide in components inside the system may have non-linear behavior. Let's say, for example, if you have the transistor in your electronic circuit, the transistor has non-linearity if it is saturation and cut-off region, right? In the active region, it is linear. So sometimes if the input exceeds the region beyond the active region, then it will saturate, and so you will get the clipped off signal, right? That means you will have some non-linearity. It's not a linear system. So like that, even in case of switching circuits and power electronics, you will have encounter with many components that will have non-linearity. So how do you, in the case of mechanicals, you will have non-linear friction, non-linear backlashes, and all those things create some kind of non-linearity in the system. So in that case, how do you analyze the system? One popular approach is it's actually the analyzing the system and the controlling the nonlinear system in general is tedious. But the one good news here in this case is many times linearizing the nonlinear system around the equilibrium point, and maybe it's the equilibrium point or whatever method you use, then they find out the controllers after the linearization system, that will help a lot. That will work perfectly. 90% of nonlinear systems work like this. Even in case of amplifiers also, what you do is first you design a operating point, and then you design a circuit around the operating point, right? Like that here also, we do, there are different kinds of linearization techniques. In one linearization is local linearization. In that, I will go through one by one. For the case of nonlinear system, the most popular thing is local linearization. I will tell you what is this local linearization. It is similar to your designing operating point in active region, and then allow the system to always work in that design around the operating point system. Your system is allowed to operate, right? Like that here also. Local linearization. There are many ways you can design the controllers in case of nonlinear system, but there is no unique procedure for to control the nonlinear system. The most popular one is linearization. So in the linearization, there are three things. One is local linearization. Another one is state transformation. State transformation means if the system has e power t, in general, I'm saying if you have e power t, then this is a nonlinear system, right? Then what we do is take the logarithm, then it will be ln of e power t, it will be t, right? So that like that, in state space also nonlinear systems, we have having nonlinear system, we do set a transformation, state transformation, and then make it to linearize, so that once the system is linearized, then you will use linear technique what we have learned. This is state transformation. And the third one is feedback linearization. In feedback linearization, you design an input such that whatever the nonlinearity there in the system, that is cancelled out by the input. Then what you left with is linear matrices, linear elements, so that you can use linear technique. We'll give the slides are given enough examples regarding these things. Let's quickly go through those things. So before giving go through that linearization technique, he has given some motivation based on the work of Lyapunov. Lyapunov's stability. This is for analyzing the stability of nonlinear system. We actually have two methods in the linear Lyapunov stability. One method that is actually based on the linearization of the system. The first method is based on the linearizing the given nonlinear system around the equilibrium point. I will tell you what is the equilibrium point. Okay, once you linearize the system around the equilibrium point, if you find the uh, poles of that linear system, uh, then is a stable. Then they say that the nonlinear system around that region is stable. The another method is the second method is the energy based method, which is something you will learn later. Actually, it's not required at this point of time for this course. So, what is the equilibrium point? The equilibrium point is something like that. If the system reaches to that state, then it remains to stay in that region only, in that state only. That is called the equilibrium state. Let's say, for example, if you have a bowl like this, suppose if you drop a ball here or here or here, it will end up to reach to here, right? This is the point. So this is called the equilibrium point for this case. So like that for any system, if the system is even fit up around that point, then it will try to reach to that point only. That is called the equilibrium point. So it is mathematically represented as the equilibrium point is defined by x star. X star is an equilibrium point if f of x star equal to 0 for all t greater than 0. This is called the equilibrium point. That means if x star equal to 0 at this point means x dot is equal to f of x, right? So at this point, at the equilibrium point, x star will be equal to 0. Okay, because f of x star equal to 0, that means x dot equal to 0 at x star. Okay, so how to calculate the equilibrium point for the case of linear system given by uh, this is, x dot equal to some 0 1 minus 1, that means x dot is equal to 0 x1 and 1 x2, right? That means this is x2 and x2 dot equal to minus 6 x1 minus 5 x2. Okay, so we have to find out at what point x1 dot and x2 dot equal to 0. That means if we make x1 dot equal to 0 means that means x2 equal to 0, right? And if you make x2 equal to 0 and this is already x2 equal to 0, then x1 is also 0. So 0 0, the point 0 0 is the equilibrium point for this system. Okay. So this system can have many number of equilibrium points. It can have uh, no equilibrium point. Sometimes some system can have only one equilibrium point. Some system can have multiple equilibrium points, and some systems can have continuous continuum of equilibrium points. Let's say, for example, this is a pendulum case. The pendulum state equations are x1 dot equal to x2 and x2 equal to minus x2 minus sin x1. So the equilibrium point in this case is x2 equal to 0 because x1 dot equal to 0 means x2 equal to 0. Okay. Now x2 dot equal to 0 implies minus x2 minus sin x1 equal to 0. Since already x2 equal to 0, if you substitute that one, then minus sin x1 equal to 0. That means x1 equal to n pi, right? Because sine for all pi, integer multiple of pi, sin x1 equal to 0. So that means it has multiple equilibrium points. One is 0 0 and 0 pi, sorry, x2 is always 0, right? So first one is 0 0, second one is pi comma 0, third one is 2 pi comma 0, and so on. So there are multiple equilibrium points for the case of pendulum. So here for the linear case means x dot equal to ax plus bu, right? So if you make let's say assume u equal to 0, here the equilibrium point basically we will compute for u making u equal to 0. Okay, so then it is x dot equal to ax. In this case, so x dot equal to 0, equilibrium point x dot equal to 0 implies ax equal to 0. So the equilibrium points for this case can be if A is a invertible matrix or full rank, then you will have only one equilibrium point. Or if A is a, not full rank, let's say for example 0, 0 like this, then x1, x2. That means x2 equal to 0. And for any value of x1, this is equal to 0. That means you will have x2 some some a comma 0. So whatever the a value, if x2 equal to 0, then all these points are equilibrium points. That means it is a continuum of equilibrium points. Similarly, for a nonlinear system, here in this example also have the continuum of equilibrium points. Suppose if you, because this is x1, x2 equal to 0, in this case, either x1 equal to 0 or x2 equal to 0, right? For this one. Then if x1 equal to 0, this is also 0, and if x2 equal to 0, then x1 is equal to 0. No, no. Here x1 equal to 0 and x2 equal to 0. If x1 equal to 0 irrespective of x2, the system is 0, right? If it is x1 equal to 0, this is 0, and here this is also 0. That means the system has continuum of equilibrium points. So for this is an example where the system has no equilibrium point. So for the case of this from here, x2 equal to x2 dot equal to 0 means implies x2 equal to 0 from this equation. Then from this one, mu minus x1 square equal to 0. Then x1 is equal to plus or minus square root of mu. So if mu is equal to positive, then you will have two equilibrium points. If if it is negative, that means it is not a proper value. That is a imaginary. That is not defined, right? Position. We won't define any position x1 and x2 in terms of imaginary numbers. So that means it is there is no equilibrium point in this case. So what other information these equilibrium points are telling us? So for the case of pendulum example, this is called a phase portrait. Phase portraits is actually drawn either two-dimensional or three-dimensional based on the dimension of the system. Here for the pendulum case is the second order system, you will have x1 and x2, that is theta and theta dot are your state space variables, right? So they are here the plots are drawn between theta and theta dot, that is called state phase portraits. So if you see the phase portraits, there is a, we already know that this is at 0, 0, you will have a one equilibrium point, another one is n pi, right? N pi comma 0. So these are the equilibrium points. So if you see another equilibrium point here, this is one equilibrium point and this is another equilibrium point here. So here, if you this system is nearby, then it is going towards to that equilibrium point. This is called a stable equilibrium point. If the trajectories are going towards this equilibrium point, it is diverging here. Whereas here, if anything coming here, it is going in this direction. So these all are unstable equilibrium points. So this will tell you the system. Suppose you are find out three equilibrium points and one equilibrium point is stable and the other are unstable. So what we do is we take the stable equilibrium point and linearize around that one and design the controller. So in that way, it will actually help you find whether this equilibrium point is stable or not. How do you find this equilibrium point is stable or not? We will see that later. So the second approach I told you is linearization techniques. Here we need equilibrium point. I will tell you what. First you learned about equilibrium point. Then how do you linearize around the equilibrium point later. Then next is state transformation. This is a linearization around state transformation. So if you choose the coordinate here, x1 is non-linearity through ln x1 and log x1 and log x2, right? So in this case, we can find out any proper transformation so that that can be converted into linear state space form. So such transformation is that is called state transformation, the linearization by state transformation. We'll see that one. And another one is this is a pendulum of equation. Can we find out a u such that will the if we choose a u, then can we transform that one into linearized system? Suppose in this case, first case, uh, if you choose another state variable which is a function of x1 and x2, some function, that function is ln x1, and another state variable z2 which is of the form ln x2, then z1 dot will be 1 by x1 into x1 dot, right? Suppose z2 dot will be 1 by x2 into x2 dot, right? So this x1 dot is again this one, 1 by x1 into x1 ln x2. So this gets cancelled. So you will get so ln x2, where ln x2 is nothing but your z2, right? This is z2. Now in this case, 1 by x2 into x2 dot. x2 dot is minus x2 ln x1 plus this is make it to u equal to 0. So you don't go into this one. Or you can keep it also, no issues. So this is x2u. So then this x2, this gets cancelled. Then you will get minus ln x1 plus u. Where ln x1 is your z1. So this is minus z1 plus u. So you get these two equations, right? So this is the now this is a linearized form, right? So this is called a linearization by transformation technique. But this kind of transformation it is hard to find. So which transformation you have to choose for any nonlinear system, that is hard to find. And also we can't give always the guarantee that the system has the linearizable using state transformation. So if you are lucky for a given system, if you find a transformation, then your life will be easy. Otherwise, you have to find out other methods. So similarly, here for the pendulum case, if we choose a sine input u is of the form like this, then sine u, that means if you substitute here, then sine theta minus theta star, then this gets cancelled, right? So you will find out some linearizer equation here. So this is also way we can do. This is called a feedback linearization. You are finding an input u that cancel out the non-linear terms in the given system. So this is another approach we will follow. Then we will go to local linearization. The local linearization is something like that. Suppose we are given a system x dot equal to this is your x dot is equal to f of x1 x comma u, and your y is some nonlinear function h comma u. So if the system is like this, then this local linearization first step is we have to find out the equilibrium point for this system. What we have, and then do a use a Taylor series expansion to get the system is the form linear form. Suppose if we choose x star and u star is your equilibrium point, that means your x dot equal to 0 at this point. Okay. That means f of x star comma u star equal to 0. Okay. Now you take care, choose a state x is equal to x star plus some delta x. We are just taking perturbing the equilibrium point a little bit. Then u is equal to u star plus delta u. Then that means your f of x comma u, which is equal to f of x star plus delta u comma, sorry, yes, delta x comma u star plus delta u. So now we expand this f of x. This is equal to 0, right? Now expand this one using Taylor series. Then we can write f of x comma u as f of x star comma u star plus dou f by dou x at x star comma u star into delta x plus dou f by dou u computed at x star comma u star into delta u. And there are other higher order terms also will be there, right? So since this is a equilibrium point is f of x star comma u star, then this term is 0. That means we can write f of x cube as dou f by dou x. I'm writing this as a delta x plus this is my a and this is my b delta u. So x dot is equal to f of x comma u is equal to this one, where x is nothing but your x is equal to x star plus delta x, right? That means your x dot will be delta x dot. So delta x dot is equal to a delta x plus b delta u. Are you getting? Is it clear? Okay. That means equilibrium point around the equilibrium point means slightly above the equilibrium point. Then around the equilibrium point will be discussion. Then also we can write it as delta y is equal to c delta x plus d delta u. This is called the local linearization. That means we are linearizing the system around equilibrium point. That means if the system is having like this, then you choose a point. This is, let's say if it is at equilibrium, then we are choosing only small perturbing the system around that equilibrium. That is called. Then we can approximate that as a linear, right? So that is what actually this local linearization works. The same derivation here is he didn't explain actually. This is how. So delta x, I wrote it as delta. Then here is this delta they have used the delta x plus bu, where a is equal to dou f by dou x, where b is equal to dou f by dou u, and c is equal to dou h by dou x, and d is equal to dou h by dou u. Here they have given some couple of examples. I think you can go through these examples. I will solve some more examples beyond this one. Let's find out one example on finding the system solution. X dot is equal to x1 dot x2 dot is given that there is a system, state space representation of a system is given as 1 0 1 1 x1 x2 plus 1 1 u, and also initial state vector x of 0 is given as 1 comma 0. Okay, now to find the system response. System response for unit input, step input. So this is your problem. So first step is where you know that the solution of the system is x of t is equal to e power at x of 0 plus integral 0 to t e power minus at a tau b u of tau d tau, where e power at is inverse Laplace transform of si minus a inverse. Okay, so the first step is we have to compute e power at. So where a is it? So first step is we have to find out si minus a inverse, that is equal to s minus 1 0 1 minus 1 s minus 1. Okay, or you can s into 1 0 0 1 minus a is 1 0 1 1. So this is s minus 1 0 minus 1 s minus 1 inverse. So how do we compute the inverse of a matrix? It is adjoint A by a determinant of A, right? That means adjoint of this one is s minus 1 0 1 s minus 1 by determinant of this matrix, that is s minus 1 whole square. That's all. This is 0, right? Then it is 1 by s minus 1 0 1 by s minus 1 whole square and 1 by s minus 1. So this is your Si minus A inverse. Now inverse Laplace transform of this Si minus A inverse. So your e power at is inverse Laplace transform of Si minus A inverse. So which is equal to, now we apply inverse Laplace transform for this one. This is e power t 0 t e power t and e power t. This is your e power at. Then next step is we have to calculate. We have to calculate e power a tau b u tau, right? then e power minus a tau b u tau. So that is equal to e to the power of minus tau 0 minus tau, sorry, tau e to the power of minus tau e to the power of, oh, this is minus, because minus tau we are writing, right? If this is e power minus tau into b. B is nothing but your 1 1, your B matrix, u of tau. So this is e to the power of minus tau, and here it is minus tau e to the power of minus tau minus e to the power of minus tau, right? This is your step input, means your input is step input, that means u of tau is equal to 1. Now integral of, we need to calculate integral 0 to t e to the power of minus a tau b u of tau. That means integral 0 to t e to the power of minus tau e to the power of minus tau e to the power of minus tau. This is plus d tau. So this is equal to 1 minus e to the power of minus t, and this is t into e to the power of minus t. Now the x of t, the system response, your x of t is equal to e to the power of t 0 t e to the power of t e to the power of t into x, the initial vector x naught is equal to 1 0 plus integral of this one e to the power of minus t e to the power of minus t. Then this is equal to 2 into e to the power of t minus 1, and this is 2t e to the power of t. This is your system state for the input, step input. This is internal system response. Okay, and let's find out another example on equilibrium point. Let us consider a system x1, nonlinear system x1 dot x2 dot given as x2 comma minus x1 plus 5 into 1 minus x1 square x2. So this is your nonlinear system. Then without input, this is a non-homogeneous case. So in this case, what are the problems? The problem is find equilibrium point for the system. The second one is linearize the system around equilibrium point. And third one is analyze the stability of this linearized system. So let's find out equilibrium point. The first one is equilibrium point is x dot equal to 0. That means x1 dot equal to 0 implies x2 equal to 0, right? This is the one. Now x2 dot equate x2 dot equal to 0 implies minus x1 plus 5 into 1 minus x1 square x2 equal to 0. Since x2 equal to 0, then minus x1 equal to 0, right? That implies therefore 0, 0 is the equilibrium point. Now the second one, now linearize the system around equilibrium point. That means your A matrix here in this case is dou f by dou x1, dou f by dou x2. Let's say this is f1 and f2. That means this is a function f1 and this is function f2. Okay, and dou f2 by dou x1, dou f2 by dou x2. And you need to find out at 0, 0 is the equilibrium point. Now dou f1 by dou x1 means this one. Uh, this is your f1, this is your f2. Okay, so dou f1 by, let me write here, f1 is x2 and f2 is minus x. It's already there here. So dou f1 by dou x1 means here, because x2 there is no x1, so this is 0. Now dou f1 by x2 with respect to x2, then it will be 1. Now dou f2, this is the function. In this case, differentiate with respect to x1, then it will be minus 1 and this is 0 minus 10 x1 x2. Then dou f2 by x2. Dou f2 by x2 is this is your function. That means 5 into 1 minus x1 square. So this is your linearized system. I'm writing here. This is one. So you need to find out the this A matrix around this equilibrium point, that is 0, 0. So A is equal to, if you substitute 0, 0 for x1 and x2, then you will get 0, 1, minus 1 and 5. This is your A matrix. So then the next step is, since there is no B here, because there is no input U, there is no B. Otherwise, you need to differentiate with respect to U. Dou f1 by dou U, dou f1, dou f2 by U2. U. Then third one is analyze the system for stability. So we know that the poles of the equation is equal, poles of the transfer function is equal to the eigenvalues of A. So if the eigenvalues are negative real parts, then it is a stable. So first we need to calculate the eigenvalues. Eigenvalues, how do you calculate? Determinant of lambda I minus A, right? Equal to 0. Then you will find out lambda, that is the eigenvalue. That means here in this case, lambda, here lambda, sorry, this is minus 1, this is 1, and this is lambda minus 5, the determinant, and equal to 0. So which you will get lambda into lambda minus 5 plus 1 equal to 0. That means lambda square minus 5 lambda plus 1 equal to 0. So The eigenvalues, so here the roots of this lambda equation, that means lambda equal to minus b plus or minus, that means 5 plus or minus b square minus 4 means 25 minus 1 minus 4 by 2, that is equal to 5 plus or minus root 21 by 2. So this is equivalent to 0.014.79. Since the eigenvalues are both eigenvalues are positive real parts, so the system is non-linear. The non-stable, unstable system. So this is how you can find out linearize the system and check the stability of that system. Is it clear? So this is all about the week 10 car content. If you have any doubts, I can explain. If you don't know, no doubts, then we can stop this class. You can wind up. Have any doubts? Okay. Thank you guys.